Hi everyone, it's Sue. So today's Try It Tuesday challenge is hosted by Sammi at Monarch Dust Designs and co-hosted by Christi Creates. But before I get started, I just want to give a shout out to all those YouTubers who participated in the Jaws Summer Movie Challenge. So thank you so much to Angie's Art and Crafty Creations, KMom14, Davy JY Art with a Pen, Lee's Art Studio, Kyujin Comic Art, Bird's Nest Buys and DIYs, and Black Cat Crafts, and I will put links to their channels in the description box below. So DIY number 1 was this cute little boat shelf by Bargain Bethany, and I will put a link to the video in the description box below. Now I love Bargain Bethany's Dollar Tree decor products that she makes. However, sometimes her instructions aren't always as clear, and I really struggled with this boat, and I don't know why, if it's just me, but she even admitted that she kind of messed up the pattern a little bit, and trying to watch the video, I just kind of winged it. But basically, you take these small popsicle sticks and you glue them together to make 2 squares with the triangle on top, and then just keep layering them and layering them until you get the thickness of boat that you want. And I just used some regular hot glue to affix them, and it's not perfect because I did mess up the pattern in some spots, but I just went with the flow. Now she used some really thick, almost foam-like material shelf liner with the wood grain, and I just had this thin, almost like paper vinyl wood trim, so it didn't really work as well, but again, I just went with the flow, and basically I just cut it out to the shape of my boat, cut out the center pieces, and then attached it around. And it wasn't really all that sticky, so I did end up using some hot glue just to affix the shelf liner to the front of my boat. Now I didn't show it here, but I did end up taking more of the shelf liner and just covering the sides of my boat as well. Then I flipped it over and used the popsicle sticks to go around the back just to make the bottom of the boat. When I got to the bow of the boat, I had to cut some of the popsicle sticks just so they would fit in the triangular shape, and kept affixing them with some hot glue. Then I took one of the bigger popsicle sticks and just cut it like an oar, and took this brown popsicle stick that I had already colored and glued that onto the one end and a little knobby on the other end to make a paddle. I made 2 of them and stuck them on my boat, and I thought it ended up looking pretty darn cute. At the end of the video, I will give the grand reveal. DIY number 2 was by Monarch Mom DIY, and I've always wanted to make one of these clay pot lighthouses, so when I saw hers I just fell in love with it, and I've had these clay pots sitting around for years. I didn't have the exact same size she did, but I did have 4 of the pots in progressively smaller sizes, as well as 2 of the trays. Plus 6 Jenga blocks and some white, blue, and black acrylic paint, and I was ready to go. So first I took some white acrylic paint and put about 2 coats all over all 4 of my pots and let them dry completely. Then I took the large tray and some of my dark navy blue and gave it a couple coats as well. The smaller saucer, as well as all 6 of the Jenga blocks, I covered in 2 coats of black paint and let dry completely. Now the small black saucer I had painted inside and out and let it dry completely. Then I took the pots and put some painter's tape around so that I could paint the rim of the pots this sort of grayish smoky blue color. So I ended up mixing some black and white and blue until I got the color that I liked. Then I painted the rim of all 4 pots and peeled off the tape and let it dry. Next, I used a mixture of E6000 and hot glue to put these 4 blocks into my black saucer. So I glued 2 together and then put them on the bottom of the saucer, and then put 4 blocks standing up around the perimeter of these 2. Next, I took a Dollar Tree solar light and pulled the stake off, and then used some E6000 and hot glue again just to glue that down in where I made the little bracket. Now the next part's really tricky to see because it gets so tall, but I ended up using my E6000 and hot glue mixture just to stack my pots up until it looked like a lighthouse, and then put the black part on top. Now you have to let this completely cure and dry before you really move it around. Now the fun part to decorate. I put a whole bunch of little stones around the base of my lighthouse. I didn't glue them down because there's quite a large shelf there. Then I took some seashells that I've had sitting around forever and put those on. And I also had a wooden sailboat and anchor left over from my other nautical DIYs that I glued that on as well. Next, I took a pencil just to draw on my door and windows, and then used a black Sharpie to color them in, and a white paint pen just to put on the details. And finally I took some Dollar Tree rope and glued it around each one of the bases of my pots, as well as I cut off little pieces and stuck them around where the light is and some stones just to decorate up the top. Now wait to the end to see the grand reveal of this one. DIY number 3 is also by Monarch Mom DIY, and it's this cute beach scene, and I'll put a link to the video below. So I reused a canvas that I had already done for my vacation series that was already stained with the antique wax. Then I took some regular popsicle sticks and some chalk paint in Cascasde and Nautical colors and just some white acrylic paint because I was too lazy to actually get the white chalk paint out. So then I just divided them up into groups of 3 and colored some the dark blue, some the light blue, and some the white, and let them dry completely. Next, I laid them all out into the pattern that I liked, and just so that I could maybe reuse this frame again, I didn't glue them in because they actually fit very snugly and perfectly in. I just had to slide them into place, and they held quite well. So they wedged in there quite easily. I just had to use my little Cricut tool to just kind of slide them along a little bit if they got stuck, and they fit almost perfectly into the frame. Then I used a pencil just to lightly write the word beach onto the sign. Now she used the full nautical rope to glue around, but since my frame was quite a bit smaller, I took it apart and just used one strand. But I used the hot glue and just strung around the rope words beach, and I thought it looked pretty cute, a miniature version of her original one. Finally, just to jazz it up a little bit more, I took some more of my seashells and just glued them around the frame, and I thought it looked pretty beachy peachy. So this last DIY by She's So Crafty is so easy peasy. It's not really considered a DIY, it's more of a spruce up. But I took an existing Dollar Tree beach sign that I quite liked, and as she did, just took some nautical rope and glued it around and embellished it with some shells. So take something that's already kind of cute and make it even cuter. And I will link her video where she does this below in the description box. So stay tuned to the end of the video to see the grand reveal of all 4 DIYs. So you can see here all my beach themed decor fits in nicely with my foyer. The walls are already a seafoam green. And here is my lighthouse. I can't wait to see it light up at night. Hopefully it gets enough light there with my little beach sign. And these pair nicely with the nautical wreath that I did earlier, and I'll put a link above so that you can recreate that as well. And here is my little boat shelf with some cute little seashells on it and my beach sign, along with my sea glass lantern and coasters that I made before. So hopefully you enjoyed my beach themed Try It Tuesday decor items, and see you next time on Discovering the Art of Living.